The Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. And justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Spiritu?
Here.
Mr. Corbett?
Here.
Ms. Laird?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Ms. Ray?
Here.
Okay. I'd like to make the motion to go into executive session to discuss item B.
So
Moved by Mrs. Ray, second by Ms. Laird. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
yes.
Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes. Carried. So we're going to an executive session. One of
right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Corbett.
Okay. We're now back in regular session. It is 6:01 p.m. Before we went into executive session, we did the Pledge of Allegiance and called to order. So at this point, can we have a motion to approve or amend the minutes of the regular meeting held November 1st, 2021?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Are there any questions regarding the minutes? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Mr. Detweiler. Who seconded?
Me.
Sorry. Thank you.
Mrs. Espiritu seconded.
Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz?
Yes, motion carries. Walk-on items.
Yes, actually, this evening, board, if it is okay with you, I'd like to add 2 walk-on items. They're at your place. There's 2 items there for personnel matters. They're walk-ons. I've got a substitute, Sarah Ray for a classified staff substitute, and then Alexis Gideon to be a focused intervention tutor as needed for $20 an hour. And then the other one is a walk-on item. I'd like to talk to you tonight about a girls' wrestling club. If I could add that to the agenda, and we can have a discussion as that comes up. I'm going to put that in as item 30.
Okay, legislative report.
Yes, I have an article here that I'd like to share with everyone. We've had a nice breakthrough with the issue we were dealing with commodity dollars being locked and not being able to use those specific funds for various types of food. Megan let us know and John let us know that through other grant dollars, we've been able to utilize that. But sometimes the downside of that is grant dollars are spent on other things that we need. So here's what happened. We had a great conference call that was scheduled by Representative Gary Click on our behalf with the Ohio Department of Education. And it basically says, the attachment of links explains the flexibility at a high level now. So the USDA and the Ohio Department of Education have recognized the issue and worked on ways to help schools. So it says, next, I'll give you a brief explanation of the commodity dollars and discounts and how the ODE can take action in support of the schools. And this particular email is coming from Brian Davis, who is the Assistant Director of the Office of Nutrition with the ODE. It was a very informative conference call. It says schools earn commodity dollars through the USDA Foods Program administered by ODE. Point 1, many schools use their allocated USDA food dollars to establish discounts on high-demand foods. For example, they might allocate USDA food dollars to Tyson Foods in order to get discounts on chicken strips or nuggets. At that point, the dollars function a bit like a gift card. Each time the school orders chicken nuggets, the USDA food balance will be drawn down. That allows for accurate accounting of the total discounts. Point 2, typically schools use distributors such as Gordon Food Service to stock and deliver those items, and Gordon Food Service tracks the discounts and informs the school about the remaining balance from the drawdown. But, point 3, because of the national supply chain disruptions, Gordon Food Service may not have the Tyson chicken products as expected. Next point, at that point, there are 2 potential solutions. First example is Gordon Food Service might offer a different Tyson chicken product to the USDA food discounts. This is the most direct solution. But as we know, it's only going to work if a substitute product is both available first, in the supply chain, that's been a little tough, and then acceptable to the nutritional values that we have to comply with from the USDA. So maybe they would substitute chicken sandwiches instead of nuggets. Second option, if there is no possible usable substitute within Gordon Foods items, the school might find a different distributor who has Tyson chicken nuggets in stock. And in this case, this is where the Ohio Department of Ed's USDA Foods team can assist. Similar to transferring the balance of a gift card, the USDA food team can help transfer the discounts to the new distributor. So in essence, they've come up with the solution that we've been talking about and what we needed. So that's my report for the evening. And Megan, if I could just ask for a little bit of research, and you don't have to have this by the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
We have a little bit of time on this. But I would be curious to know two things. How much was spent from the grant dollars for commodity items? Because what I'm looking for is, might we be able to reimburse the grant funds, monies that would not have been taken from those? Mm-hmm. And we have this money sitting over here that was allocated for that expense and never used. So, for example, if those particular grant dollars could also be used for technology. We're not at a 1-to-1 ratio yet, and that's one of our goals. If we could reimburse those grant dollars, maybe those could be utilized for the other needs that we have of the students. So I'm looking for how much commodity dollars came out of that. And then can we reimburse? I got to believe we're not the only district that ran into that. And it just makes logical sense that we'd be able to reimburse that money and put it to its intended use.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to sort of wrap up the fall sports, and Mr. Gorbess alluded to this last time. Just quickly, I wanted to share with you just what a tremendous fall season we had in all of our athletics. A few highlights at the high school level. Girls tennis finished 9-10. We had 2 district qualifiers, a very good season. The boys golf finished with 43 wins, which is double last year's total. So we're very excited for them. In volleyball, finished the regular season with a 13-6 record, in the hunt for a title for a while, and ended up 3rd in the league, which is the highest finish in our history with the track for volleyball. So some new accomplishments there. Obviously in football, we finished 8-4, 2 weeks into the playoffs. And what's impressive, I think Mr. Gorbis, said something about this last week too. So we had so many young men recognized for first and second team. Some of them for first team on offense and defense. And also most notably, Caden Holmes, our quarterback, was player of the year for the track, the entire league, #1. Just a tremendous year. Also in boys soccer, we finished 9-6-1, also one of our best seasons. Logan Backey and Aiden Carter were selected track first team, and both are juniors. So they'll both be back for next year's boys soccer. Girls golf finished with 10-44. Elena Smith was second team all track. And in girls soccer, they finished 7-9. And then for cross country, we had a first also again. Evelyn Szymanowski was the #1 runner in the track, #1 track champion, league champion outright. Qualified for state, did quite well. Also with cross country, Mackenzie Smith, Allison Taylor, Adrian Hallbeisen, and on the boys side, Will Kaiser, Zach Glotzbecker, were all league honor winners. So just want to sort of up-to-date you that we had a tremendous fall season in the student activities area. And also, too, and I've alluded to this, I know anybody that knows these kids, there's some quality kids on this group, too. I mean, I would put these kids out anywhere. They're good citizens. As I mentioned in one of my emails to you a couple weeks ago, our pep rallies actually have pep, which has been a struggle for a lot of schools. And it's just kind of hard to keep going through them. But we've had tremendous pep rallies and just a lot of great enthusiasm around our fall sports. And it looks like this winter will be no different. A lot of high expectations for our athletes this winter, swim and basketball and wrestling. So a lot of good things coming. Just want to kind of update you on that. Coming up, board, I'd just like to get maybe a maybe we should take a motion since it is going to be an action. It's not on the agenda. Last year, we canceled the meeting that falls between Christmas and New Year's. If you remember, we've scheduled that again for December 27th. That's the Monday after Christmas. I don't know if we would like to tackle that now. We could think about it and do it next meeting. I don't know if Mr. Gorbett, you got any thoughts on that? Someone pointed that out to me today, and I thought I'd bring it up.
Personally, I think we should cancel.
We did last year. I don't know.
I'd like to make a motion to cancel the meeting. Noted.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Price, that we cancel the meeting that's currently scheduled for December 27th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you. I didn't mean to spring it on you, but I thought we'd just wrap that up so we all know. And then on our agenda tonight, actually, it's not on the agenda, but in your packet are our draft calendars. Between the state law and our negotiated agreement, we have to have a 30-day or 1-month opportunity for the community to see those calendars. Now, the staff will vote, and I'll come back at our next meeting, and actually, our second meeting, and ask you to approve one of those, and we'll see where, and I'll at that time tell you where the teachers are on that, so we'll go from there. And also, just real quick, this Friday, speaking of Representative Click, he's joining us on Friday to help us draw attention to our staffing shortage. Representative Click is actually a licensed bus driver, although I didn't have time to really get all the insurance and approval and all the other stuff done. Our first thought was to have him drive a bus, take a picture and send it out, and see maybe wrestle up some bus drivers. If the state representative can drive a bus, who can't, right? But he's going to help serve some lunch. He's going to help on the playground. He's going to help in the custodial area this Friday. So I'm looking forward to a nice visit from him. And we really are just trying to get the word out that we have spots available for people in all of those areas. So just let you know, kind of looking forward to that visit also. Also, he's going to visit a government class at Ross too while he's here for the day. So looking forward to that. I think that's all my news. Anybody have any questions about anything else before we get into the agenda? Oh, I did want to update you on our COVID numbers. These are positive cases, student and staff combined. Last week we had 17, which was up a little bit. The week before was 12, and the 2 weeks before that were 7 for each week. So unfortunately, a little bit higher last week than we've seen. We had 5 over the weekend, so we'll kind of see how things go. I just want to make sure you were up to date on that. Thank you, Mr. Corbett.
How are things going as far as the change in policy?
In the quarantine policy? Yeah, actually, I think a lot of relieved parents that their students aren't home for 10 days. So they can mask and stay and test to play, which is sort of the plan that came out of the state. We modified a little bit to suit our needs, but that's where we are now. It seems to be much less stress on families and teachers and everybody else because kids have an option to stay in school. So I'm sure that the 17 from last week would have been 400. I mean, if we had kids quarantined out, because each kid was taking out 15, 20 kids of exposure. So I think a move in the right direction. I mean, balancing that with safety and everything that we've done for the last 20 months, it's I think about as well as we can do.
I know I appreciated it today. Ava came home with a letter saying she was in
Yep.
close contact, so she's
Masked up.
quarantined. So I'm like, hey, at least you can go to school. You
Go to
just
school.
put a mask on,
Yeah,
but at least you're not at home.
Yeah.
And she was happy for that also.
absolutely. Oh, there you go.
How are they monitoring the ones?
We do have a list that we share with staff. Yeah, kids who should be in quarantine or should be masked up.
Masked.
Yeah. And I'll have to be quite honest too. The kids usually are fine. They roll with it. They want to be in school. They really want to be in school.
Okay. First hearing of the public. A Fremont City School District citizen recognized by the chair may speak on any issue during the recognition of visitors and hearing of the public sessions. But the chair may limit remarks pursuant to the debate regulations of Robert's Rules of Order and Fremont City School District policy. If you choose to speak tonight, please state your name and address at the podium. Limit your statement to 5 minutes. Direct your comments to the Board of Education President. Would anybody like to address the board at this time?
Thank you. A number of weeks ago, I presented two memorandums to this board. The first of September 29th, 2021, from the National School Boards Association to the President of the United States. The second from the Office of the Attorney General Merrick Garland, dated October 4th, 2021, and also a release from the Department of Justice. It has become very clear these agencies, along with educational associations, colluded with the President's office to enforce an ideology of intimidation and indoctrination upon American school children and their parents who voice their concerns at BOE meetings. Viola Garcia, NSBA CEO, and Chip Slavin, interim director, would have the federal government classify parents as domestic terrorists. Garcia goes on to indicate critical race theory is not taught in public schools. We continually hear and read from educational administrators, politicians, and the news media, this problem does not exist in our schools. More false statements or outright lies. Currently, it is estimated 29,000 school districts include CRT in its curriculum. State Board of Educations are backing away because if they had not been revised about this. In other words, are boards of education from the state backing away because they finally heard something about it, or would they have continued to be a part of this? Two questions I posed at a previous meeting concerning DEI. Under Burning Bridges Out of Poverty, you wish to develop and implement a minority summit. I indicated my ethnicity at that time. Would I, as a student, be able to participate?
The answer is yes. And we had that last week. We had a mixed bag of all students. You're welcome.
Okay, underprivileged, which begins in the 2023 and 2024 school year, and includes community engagement and parent involvement. I still don't understand why parent involvement was not one of the top things on this list, that it was put clear at the very end. You know, is this going to be a scary type deal? Have any board members given a thought to these two questions? I guess the one you've answered.
I'm sorry. I didn't
What
mean to
about
jump
the
in. I
second one?
apologize.
Has that been addressed in any manner?
No,
No?
not by the
Okay.
board.
Why is the word equity not included in this program? Take a moment, if you would, and judge these two words: equality, equity. Equality, equity. Which one of these words would you want to strive the Fremont City School District to work towards, for all students or some students? You don't need to answer now. It was interesting, James Carville, a Democratic political advisor who recently was on CNN, spoke of how this woke mob is trying to destroy the nuclear family by its oppressive dialogue. What is all, he states, what is all this stupid wokeness about? Look at many cities with defund police lunacy, Abraham Lincoln's name being removed from public schools, school buildings. These people need to go to a woke detox center, and further, he indicates they use words and language people just don't understand. It appears Mr. Carville had a grasp on the situation, and we're starting to have a lot of these new words put into our dialogue that I think maybe 90% of our parents don't fully understand. I'm glad to inform you that the Loudoun County School District in Virginia is currently allowing parents to speak at their board meetings. Unfortunately, no parents are allowed to sit in the room where the board meeting is being held. Instead, they must wait their turn in another room. When they wish to speak, they are brought in front of the board, members only one at a time. None of the others in attendance are allowed to hear what they say to the board. There are three words that come to mind when I think of how students and parents are treated by the elitists in America: carpetbaggers, grifters, and pompous asses. Finally, I'm sure a lot of you have gone and got a vaccination or a vaccine shot or a shot for the flu. And I'm sure most of you have probably gotten one of these papers that's put out by the CDC and gives you some information and some guidelines. And I'm sure most of you probably folded up. Could I have like 7 minutes more, sir? If I would.
One more minute.
One of the things I want to point out on here is it says here, there may be a very small increase of risks of Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, after inactive influenza vaccine, the flu shot. What this does, the immune system then attacks the nerves in the bodies because of this, and this could happen to some children. Young children who get the flu shot along with pneumococcal vaccine, PCV13 and or DTP vaccine at the same time might be slightly more likely to have a seizure caused by a fever. Tell your healthcare provider if a child who is going to get the flu vaccine has ever had a seizure. This brings to mind with the COVID-19 and they want to start vaccinating elementary school children and whatever. I don't think there's been enough study by the CDC to say that this will be safe for children who may have had seizures in the past, or how this will affect them. And I hope if a mandate does come down that the school board takes and looks very strongly at this to make sure that these children are kept safe and not just, hey, everybody gets a shot. Thank you for the extra minute. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board?
I make a couple of responsive comments. I can't put my finger on it right now, but it seems to me that we got some correspondence regarding the Ohio School Board Association's response to the National School Boards Association. The Ohio School Board, I believe,
Through
took
membership.
steps to withdraw from the National School Board Association altogether because they felt the National School Board Association put the correspondence to the president together without their collaboration. They just did so independently and represented it as all of the states collectively when Ohio's SBA deed felt that it wasn't. So I wanted to make sure that our parents and families watching on video today and yourself all knew that Ohio's School Board Association opposed what happened in what you brought up. Secondly, I'd like to say that just as it's important to know who your local school board members are and what's happening locally and participate in these meetings, your state school board members are also elected officials. They're on the ballots for all of us to vote for. The state school board meetings are also available to the public. Those elected officials, when we come across items that don't sit well with you and they take action for which you oppose, it's very important that you address them individually as well. You are their constituents just as much as you are the local constituents. You elect them and have a say. So I would encourage everyone that hears about these things and has these concerns to make your voice known at the state level through that direction as well. And with regards to curriculum, I just want to assure everyone, while we're all concerned about some of the curriculum that has an extremist slant to it, most definitely, and that's not something we want to participate in, that doesn't mean that Fremont ignores the issues of inequalities or bullying and racism and all of those things. We address those things with our children without adopting those very divisive and extreme curriculums, and I think we do so effectively. And I understand that you have some opposition to Shari Molin's programs, but I just want to state publicly that I think she's done a fabulous job. The way she conducts those conversations accomplishes, I think, what most of us here would agree on. She does conduct tough conversations and good education without taking things to an extreme level where to stop discriminating or treating one segment of our student body badly, we start doing it to another. She's not participated in anything like that we've seen in the extremism. So I want to say that, and also to assure everyone, any parent that has an issue with curriculum being taught in their child's classroom has access, has every right to contact the teacher, the building administrator, and you can go right up the chain all the way to our superintendent to ask for copies of what that curriculum is and share your opinion. And if you have an issue with it, there's opportunity to make that known and ask for alternative types of assignments. And through those kinds of conversations is how, in additionally to monitoring things on his own, our administration is able to keep an eye to make sure that those kinds of things that you're concerned about don't just sneak in. The kids can talk to parents, and parents can come right on into the classroom and talk to teachers and so on, as it should be. That has always been available in Fremont City Schools. It's always been encouraged. I want to make sure people know that. That's one of the best preventative things that we have. To be mindful of what the curriculum is, as parents have access. So I'll just end it there. Thank you.
They should make an appointment.
Yes, I was saying about it.
Well, of course, but
Yes.
I believe you can observe a class if you ask.
As long as
Yes,
there's
that's what my
some
point was. If
notice.
they even want to see a class, they can.
And some state board members, I believe, are appointed by the governor.
They are, but all districts have at least one elected state board representative. We have an elected state school board representative in our district.
Okay, that's very good. Item 1.
We consider the approval of our donations this evening. You see it's a great list, as always. It's a generous community helping us all be successful, so if we could have that.
I think we have a motion to approve item 1. Moved by Mrs. Ray.
Second.
Second by Ms. Laird. Any comments regarding our donations this evening? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carried. Facilities and operations.
Thank you, Mr. Gorbetz. Item 2 through item 26 are the second reading of those policies for the board's approval this evening.
We have a motion to approve items 2 through 26.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Are there any concerns regarding the policies that we are adopting tonight? Roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carries. Student and staff achievement.
Items 27, 28, and 29 are one of the happiest ones we do. These are people have gone back to get their degrees. So congratulations to William Franklin Bailey, Krista Haley Hatton, and Judith Hoff Jackson.
Do we have a motion to approve items 27, 28, and 29? Moved by Mrs. Ray.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any questions or concerns? We'll be sending a letter.
Absolutely. And I just have to comment. We have no idea what these stories are, but every one of these people have a story. And I'm sure it's a story of triumph and accomplishment. It may have taken years, but I don't know. I get pretty moved by the whole thing. Really do.
Yes, there is certainly a
Certainly
story.
stories.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray?
Yeah.
Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz?
Yes, motion carried. Item 30.
All right. Actually, here's where I'd like, if I may, with your permission, insert the wrestling club under student matters, sort of at the end of that. So we'd have a continuation of either 29 or 30. I say really 29. For the girls wrestling club, I'd like to present that board's approval for a wrestling club. And if it's okay, maybe we get a first and second, and then have discussion, if that's okay.
Okay, could we have a motion to approve
We'll call it item 29.
item 29?
Continuation 29.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mr. Price. Any discussion?
If I may, I've got about 22 girls that have been talking for a few years about this opportunity to wrestle. One thing that we've done in the past, for example, we've had a hockey club for a while, bowling club for a while, and then bowling became a sport. Hockey, it didn't quite make it. They never quite got off the ground, never got the enthusiasm to make it all the way up to varsity status or interscholastic status. So there are more and more of these happening. I'm impressed with how enthusiastic these young ladies are for this. Seems to be gaining a lot of momentum nationally. So this is a nice way for us on kind of a low level to sort of see how it all goes. It will allow them to be in a couple tournaments. We will support them with some transportation, but there's no paid coach position. We will help them a little bit. It's not a full commitment, and obviously not a interscholastic sport. But the goal is just to try it. If they can get the enthusiasm and the following and kind of build the program, then you never know where it could go. So it's a nice kind of entryway to try this out. So that's why I've been asked. Actually, Mr. Burnt is not able to come here tonight. I know he's pretty passionate about this, and he's been talking about it for the last couple of years. And we have some young ladies that would really like to make a go at this. So I'd like your support this evening, but I'm open to any questions.
I believe Tiffin University has a ladies wrestling
That may
team.
be. I do not know.
I think that they do. I think that, it's very timely, not intended, but very timely that you'd put it on this agenda, given Miss Baumgardner
Oh, yes.
is now a boxing
I
champion.
saw that.
You know,
Exciting.
so, it's kind of nice that some sports that were closed based on
Sure.
gender are now opening up
Yeah.
for more equality. So, nice.
I've been talking. Jen Long is actually going to be the head coach of this club, Chad Long's wife. So, and
History
Chad's
teacher
going to
for
be
us,
a
yeah.
part of it. One of their daughters is one of the wrestlers. But Jen, I've talked to her a few times about this. She is super excited about it. She told me a couple comments that when they had ladies sign up, they also asked, why did you want to do this? And some of the responses from the ladies, it was just like, my brother has always been a wrestler, or my whole family, all the guys in my family has been a wrestler, and I can do it too. It was cool to hear some of those responses. And I know Jen has said OHSAA, this is a semi-sanctioned sport in the state of Ohio, so it's gaining momentum. But we're going to be, with this size of a club, I believe, as far as a club goes, we're going to be one of the bigger ones, you'd have to travel quite a ways to get to another ladies wrestling team at a school. I think this is awesome. I can't wait. And good for these girls. I read somewhere, I think it's one of the fastest growing sports in the nation. So if this can open doors for some of these girls getting into college, I mean, if colleges are having teams, they have to offer scholarships. It's out there. And if it's a unique situation that we can provide, we know we have great wrestling coaches in this area, you know, so that's a given. So I think it can be a great program. I'm excited. I'm excited for the coaches. I'm excited for our students, for our ladies to be able to participate in something like that and show some of them boys who's boss. So. Not that they're wrestling boys. I'm not saying that. But.
You know, incidentally, I remember way back when I was in high school, there were a couple of the wrestlers that showed some of us girls the moves for self-defense. No one knows how to get out of a hold better than a wrestler. They know how to do that. So there's some life skills in that too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would agree. I think it just continues our, as a school, we just have options for kids. That's what we do. We have opportunities that most districts don't have.
We'll be providing transportation.
Yes. We'll be using vans and van driver certificate. I mean, we're trying to do it on the down low, but yeah, we'll be supporting them with travel.
Fee.
I believe there is a fee. I should have that. I'm sorry, I do not have that. I can get that to the board.
And it'll be recognized as a club sport.
Yes, sir.
We should probably get a schedule for them.
Absolutely.
So we know where they're going and so forth.
A road trip in mind, Mr. Gorbett?
He'll be there.
Alex is driving. I'll buy dinner. You come if you're driving.
Are you van certified, Mr. Gorbett?
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you, Board. Moving on with staff matters, I have a resignation tender image. Myra Gefeller, Casey Feehan, Trey Grind, Carol Swain, and Caleb Wood. I'd like to then walk on item 31. The other page of the walk-on were personnel appointments. So item 31, we're going to add Sarah Rayke as a appointment as classified staff substitute. And then traveling on with 31 here, we have certified staff substitutes, certified tutors, and appointments for student monitors, secretaries, and a first aid supervisor. And I think that's it for section 31. Oh, and a staff substitute, Jason Billow.
Now, the focused intervention tutor,
Mm-hmm.
is that an after-school thing?
No, that's an ESSER money during school. That's kind of that team of tutors we have helping teachers with students during the school day.
They do that during their planning time?
Well, they're typically teaming with the teachers to pull groups apart for support.
Well, could we have a motion to approve of this item first?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Espiritu.
That's Mrs. Ray.
Excuse me, Mrs. Ray.
We look alike.
I thought I was over that. All right, my question is, are we paying all of those people extra? I'm confused about the salary here.
Are you talking about the $20 an hour? Yeah, that's actually an after-school thing. I apologize. I see that.
That is after school.
That one's after school. Yeah, she's a full-time teacher, so that's after school. Yes, sir.
Confusion came, if they're doing it during
Absolutely.
school.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes. So there are two versions of that. There's a school day and an after-school.
Okay. Are there any other questions or concerns regarding this item? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carried.
Item 32, we pulled Tia off for a separate vote, so
She is off.
we'll proceed with that.
We have a motion to approve item 32.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Spiritu. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Abstain?
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Gorbitz. Item 33 is where the next walk-on will be. Sorry for the confusion this evening. Item 33 is the supplemental contract that you mentioned with Alexis Gideon. That's a $20 an hour tutor position after school. This is for students who need extended school day or extended work after school. So we'll add that into item 33, which has the other supplementals in it. We continue then with that item 33 in the regular agenda. Section 2, we have some basketball coaches. That's it. Item 34 are special event workers. You can see all the rates there. You can see it's going to be, I always look at that list and think, going to be a busy winter. Here we go. Continues on to page 12. Item 35, special event workers for swim. We have Mr. Gorbitz on here to make him official as the JV varsity scorebook official. How many years of that, Mr. Gorbitz?
In my 34th year.
Wow.
34th year. Check. 36 is lifeguard position. 37, Gary Kaltenbach, a familiar name to all of us, bus chaperone. Item 38, these are more special event workers for fall tournament athletic events. And that continues on to the next page. Item 39, we have 5 status changes due to extended education or extended time. And that concludes our personnel item.
My question, John, although Mr. Gorbitz is very graciously volunteering for that position, since it is a board vote, should we make it its own item so he can abstain as well?
That's a good idea. Let's do that. Absolutely. So can we pull that apart, Megan?
Yep.
So maybe, how about this? We have that whole section apart from item, what was that? Item 35. So let's, Alex, if it's okay, we'll have this section be item 33 through 39 minus 35 of that. And then we'll vote on 35. Thank you, Chantel. Good catch.
Okay, could we have a motion to approve items 33, 34, 36, 37, 38, and 39?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price, second by Mrs. Ray. Okay, sorry.
I get it.
Item 33 has underneath it, now therefore be it resolved. That blurb under section,
Yes, sir.
1 implies that a position was offered to employees of our district who have a license, and no such employees are qualified to fill the positions.
Right.
And yet we are hiring a
Certified teacher.
certificated
You're
teacher.
right, Alex. Good catch again. So if everybody understand what Alex is saying, Alexis Gideon, who was the walk-on, is a certified teacher. I put her in the wrong spot because that's for non-certified staff. And only someone with his experience and wisdom probably would have caught that. Well done, Alex. So we should probably, let's do a separate vote on her then as well. So let's do that. We have a motion on right now for all the ones you listed. Let's vote on that, and then we'll do 35, and then we'll call out Alexis Gideon the same, then do 2 votes. How's that?
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carries.
Let's vote on your item then.
And 35. We have a motion to approve item 35.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Ray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Abstain.
May I recommend that we put her in with Tia, item 32, and list her with them?
Sounds good to me.
How's that? That'd probably be the most appropriate spot.
Okay, we're adding Alexis Gideon to item 32. Considering her employment as a focus intervention tutor after school.
Correct.
We have a motion to approve that additional item to item 32.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Roll call, please.
Second. Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Abstain.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes. Motion carries.
Just so I wasn't abstaining because
I'm going to tell
Alexis Gideon, it was because she was with Tia, so that's the only reason for the abstain.
Absolutely.
Just so everybody understands. I don't have anything against Alexis
No, I
Gideon.
get
I don't
it.
know
I
her,
get it.
but you know,
Get it.
just to be clear.
I apologize for not having that more clearly laid out. I got those kind of late, but no excuse. Curriculum?
Okay, curriculum. Item 40.
Thank you. This is purchase of some devices. This is for at Ross High School for instructional purposes. This is a career tech fund expenditure of $34,000 for 24 Dell computers.
We have a motion to approve item 40.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price,
Second.
second by Mrs. Ray. Are there any questions regarding item 40? Who will be using them at Ross?
That's, I believe, Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Malo. Business and careers.
So that's an appropriate expenditure under the Career Tech Fund.
Yes, sir.
Okay, roll call, please. Any other questions or concerns? Roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carried.
Let me just check on that, Ms. Gore, but it also may be our computer tech, engineering classes as well. But I can check for sure.
Okay, report of the treasurer.
We had a very busy week last week. We went to training and saw the new state software that we will be using. I think we're scheduled to switch over at the end of this month. We're very excited. It's from going to the wonderful blue screen that we have right now to a fully online program that you actually can use a mouse and not your function keys is very exciting for my staff, and it looks to be a smooth transition and a good move for us. Seems to simplify some of the programs we have to do. So we're all very excited for that. And we also had Justin complete his first full week with us. So that was also a nice week for him as well. He might not have had much of a clue as to what that new program was going to do, but I think it was a good intro for him. And then tonight I do have item 41 for the board's approval. It's some additional appropriations for health and wellness at Ross. They had to make some additional expenditures for I believe it's food for classes and that kind of thing at Ross. And then we also have some library books and supplies needed at Atkinson. So.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve item 41? Moved by Mrs. Ray.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Espiritu. Where is the $3,000 coming from for the library books and supply?
It's not really coming from anywhere. It's just so that now we can appropriate money that was, we have a cash account that they have available, but we didn't have money appropriated to it. So that is now being moved so that we can spend that money. When it just sits in the cash account, we don't have access to it unless we have it appropriated. So it's not that it's really being moved or taken away from anywhere else. It's just now that we have appropriations.
Building, okay.
Yep. This one is specifically for Atkinson.
And the building account wasn't earmarked for anything in particular, so we're going to use it for this library book.
It's actually earmarked for the library. They just hadn't appropriated funds to it
Okay.
at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Are there any further other questions, concerns regarding item 41? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carries.
Just got a text from the tech department that said those computers are in our CAD lab, so it will be in our engineering and design lab for item 40, just to clarify.
Okay, board member communications and information, Mr. Price.
Good luck to all the winter sports. Obviously approving all the contracts and everything. Like John said, it's going to be a busy winter.
Here we go.
So let's continue on with the hype that we had, the good fortune of all of our sports teams from the fall. If we can continue that into the winter, that'd be great. Congratulations to Lori Bloom, who's in the audience. If you're on camera, you can't see her on being elected. So you'll be joining us in January. Congratulations on that. Also, just a report from Capitol Conference. So OSBA had their annual Capitol Conference, and it was actually in person this year. So it was nice to be there last week. A lot of good sessions. A lot of it obviously revolved around how COVID has affected everyone. So no one is unique. No district is unique. It doesn't matter what your makeup is, what your economic part is. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going through the same thing. And I know gearing towards what we're trying to do, and I try to get away from COVID stuff because I'm tired of hearing about COVID stuff. There was a lot on equality and equity. And I think they were really good discussions because I think too many people, as soon as they hear equality and equity, first thing that comes to mind is race. But that's not it. It's how can we make everyone equitable in their education? How do we make this kid learn and become a high school diploma just as well as this kid or this kid or this kid? And it doesn't, all that factors into it, whether it's race or socioeconomic or parenting or you name it. Everything goes into that. And it was great to hear a lot of them were given by other superintendents and what they're implementing, what they have done in the past and continue to do even through COVID and how that's worked. And they said one of the biggest things I took away from it was every district, every staff is feeling the same way right now, overwhelmed. And one superintendent, and I forget the district, it's over in the Cleveland area, she said it well. She's like, let's stop trying to play the catch-up game. We're not going to get these kids caught up. They were off of school for a year and a half. They don't know how to do school yet again. And my wife can attest to that, being a second grade teacher. You know, she's still teaching those kids, you need to raise your hand if you want to talk. You need to wait in line. I mean, all those little things that go into education. And this superintendent, she was pertaining to that also, and just said, you know what, they learned stuff, even though they were off that year and a half. There were things that they learned. Maybe it isn't, and John, I was telling you this the other day, you know, maybe for that teacher that has taught algebra at high school, and your kids aren't at that same level of this week of the school year like they have been in the past, maybe that's okay. And maybe we don't need to put the stress on everybody that you have to get caught up in the first 6 months, you know? And I was talking with Tia about it at home, and I said, you know, we all talk about state report card and all the testing and everything else. And everybody in education hates it. Nobody likes it, and nobody thinks it's a good gauge for anything. Maybe this is our perfect time for that reset button, because we're not testing at the same quite level. The state report card, look, it's always going to be there. But you would think that some of us were all a bunch of idiots at the time that we grew up, and we didn't have all the state testing. We didn't have a state report card. Yeah, we're running the show everywhere, and we're doing okay. I mean, yeah, there's hiccups, but maybe we can get back to just, can we enjoy the kids? Can the teachers enjoy having the kids and teach the kids where they need to be? And every kid is going to be different, and we know that. And the state report card and all the mandated testing and everything, not that we can throw it out the window, but man, take a breath and take that minute and just say, okay, wait a minute, you know, and just relax a little and enjoy it. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a board member, if you're a school teacher, a treasurer, wherever you're at, it's still about the kids. I mean, because it's a school district. You know, we're not selling widgets, we're not selling cookies here or anything else. It's still about the kids. And if we can't enjoy the kids, then what's the point? And if all this other stuff gets in the mix of it, it's like, it's just mind blowing. And for the staff that are out there, man, everybody is working so hard. And we all, I mean, everybody knows it, not just us on the board, but everybody, all your fellow colleagues know it, because everybody's going through the same thing. Man, take that breath, take a minute and just step back and skip the English lesson tomorrow and have some fun with the kids. It's going to be cold out. Have some indoor recess and play a game. That was my favorite part of the day, and I still learned. I'm still halfway intelligent today, you know? So I don't know. I think that was a good takeaway. And also with the things that we're doing in the future, in the next few years, when it comes to equity and everything else that we want to do, she said one of the biggest things is for your school board to support, and I think we're definitely doing that, but support the programs that we're trying to implement. Obviously, we've been a part of that discussion, which is great. It's not like we're ever blindsided by it or anything, but the more that we can make it equitable, make that equality and the equity the same for every kid so that they can learn and they can all become graduates, that's the best thing we can do. And it doesn't matter what we have to do to get there. It's going to be different for every kid. And, you know, and I think as a board, we all feel the same way. But man, what a great thing to support, because again, it's just getting those kids to survive and to accomplish something instead of falling by the wayside. So that's all I have. Sorry, I went a little long. My timer didn't go off though. I'm okay.
Check the time.
5 minutes. I didn't make it.
11.
Hey, Mrs. Ray.
Okay, I'd like to welcome our visitors and thank you for your input and your support being here. Also, it's as Mr. Detweiler alluded to, those who came back and worked hard to get their high school diplomas. So congratulations to them. Also, thanks to the community for our donations. Our community is so generous to always be trying to offer assistance and offer, effects to our students. to help them on their way. I also like to say a little thanks to Mr. Gorbetz. That's a lot of years. I don't think he's ever missed any kind of game, any kind of athletic event. So for him to volunteer his time for the for all the sports and to support our athletics, that's pretty neat. And I think that's probably what I need to say.
I'd also like to welcome Lori Bloom to the board.
Yes.
Thank you for stepping up to serve and take care of Fremont's children. That's always a very noble thing to do. And I think you'll find it's a very purposeful role.
Yes.
And it feels very purposeful because of who we serve. I agree with Tom's comments on that the kids still learned things. And maybe it wasn't exactly out of the textbooks, but boy, did our kids have an advanced class in the topic of public health, like no generation before them. And did they have an advanced government and civics class, like no generation before them. Not only did they hear and see what was happening at the federal level and the state level and how those two things interact, which most people don't know, but boy, did that play out. But they got to see that locally. They got to see their parents come and interact with local government. So I agree with you. There were very, very good lessons learned, even though they may not have come out of the textbook like no other generation. Again, I want to congrats our fellow Fremont Little Giant, Miss Baumgartner, on a win, the boxing champion. And I'd like to congratulate our fall student athletes. Tremendous accomplishment there. And also, I'd like to congratulate, I'm going to call it the Purple Pit. Now, that's typically set for basketball season, but to me, the Purple Pit is the Fremont Little Giant students that really support their fellow athletes on, and that's where that spirit and that unity comes from. And it kind of leads me to that, I think, again, not just the first year of the pandemic, but this follow-up year that we're working through, I think our students, again, were the shining stars. They probably bore the brunt of the whole thing on their back. They had to wear masks longer and more often than anybody else. And in spite of whatever was put in front of them, look at what they've achieved. They hit national champion, fellow Little Giant, and the current ones. My goodness, the track team and so on, what they accomplished in spite of what they were dealing with. And they remained a united student body. We didn't have the fights and the conflict and the division in our student body that we've had in some other years. And what a wonderful example the rest of a whole world can look at. And that's our kids. Our kids really showed us how to do it. They really did. I'm so proud of them. And again, congrats to our adult Little Giant graduates.
I would like to congratulate those that earned their diploma. And I'm going to have mine short. And I just want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving and everybody to enjoy their time off.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Lori also to the board. Sure, it'll be a rewarding experience. Perhaps unlike anything you ever dreamt of doing.
Let's hope not.
Right.
Let's keep it even keeled the next 4 years, please.
Good. Good.
I'd like to congratulate the community. Our playoff game last week, it was the first time in a long time our football team played a 12th game. And the signage outside of all the businesses in the community cheering on the football team was really impressive. The community itself took a great deal of pride and ownership in the accomplishment of the team itself, and I think that's to be commended. The city really showed its unwavering support. And going to all of the games, I will say our student body, to me, showed by far the most school spirit of any student body that I saw all year long in terms of attendance and enthusiasm. Our athletes are not only great athletes, but they're tremendous role models. Provide a great service to the elementary students. And they also do a great deal of community service that not too many people are aware of. But as far as the equity, equality concept, it was something we dwelled on quite a bit during my time being employed by the school district. A lot of lessons regarding what's fair isn't always equal. What the district has to continue to do, and has done a very good job of over a long period of time, is to ensure that the equity is there for all students, so that all students have an opportunity to achieve their potential and be successful. And throughout the year last year was a struggle for everybody, as we know. But I sensed that our students never really gave up. Our senior class last year earned over $2 million in scholarship money. After having gone through a school year unlike anything they've ever gone through as far as education is concerned. Our students need to be congratulated and commended. Our staff certainly needs to continue to be commended for the hard work that it does. And under incredibly difficult circumstances. And regarding Mr. Price's comments, I agree with every word you said regarding efforts to maintain student progress, but yet relax a little bit. And I know when I spoke to the staff, I made mention that you have to do the tests, have to take them very seriously. But the way things are going right now, take them seriously, but it really isn't the primary issue at this point in time for any school district. We have got to take care of our students. They've been through hell, quite frankly, as many of us have had to endure. But this is their one shot. This is their shot at education right now. 12 years, it seems like a long time. 12 years is not a long time as compared to a lifetime. And this is their shot. And their shot was viciously interrupted last year. Through no fault of their own, through no fault of ours either. We have to continue to support our students to the maximum extent possible, make every possible accommodation we can to try to get some semblance of education that they lost last year back for them. So, I would view that as a primary goal as we go forward, because a lot of kids have a lot of catching up to do. And we have to make every effort to make that possible. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Ray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Virtu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carried. Our next meeting is December 13th.
Yeah.